Hello, welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our weekly live. I'm your host, Latrice Huff, career and leadership coach and personal branding expert to women of color. It is my mission and my movement to put more women of color in leadership roles and in positions of power because when we lead, we change the world, right? And leadership, you guys, just means influence and impact. Don't have to supervise. You don't have to, be like in front of everyone. You can be your own type of leader. And in saying that, today's topic has been highly requested and close to my heart about starting over 40 as a woman of color. All right, so if you are 40 and over, this is for you. If you're joining, you're watching, and you like, I have a friend, a colleague, a family member who needs to hear this, tag them, share this out. We all need to hear this. There is a lot of changes going on in the world right now. It almost feels like we can't like catch our breath. So, even if you are not anticipating starting over in 2025, I still recommend you listen to this. I think either by force or choice, a lot of us, especially us women over 40, will be starting over. And it can be the best thing for your life, for your career, for your happiness, right? So, as you all are watching, as you all are joining in, give me a hey, hi. Let me know, what questions do you all have on this topic? What have you been experiencing? As far as starting over. And let me just say, starting over can mean a career change, a new location. It could mean a marriage. It could mean a divorce. It could mean having a child. It could mean your kids leaving the nest. Anything where you're starting over, and really starting over is just like a major change, right? A major change. And starting over when you're 40 and over has unique challenges. We have unique challenges when you are over 40. And then over 40 as a Black woman or as a woman of color has even more challenges over top of that. And here's the thing, as a species, we don't like change. As a species, as a human species, we don't like change. Our brains don't like it, our bodies don't like it. But what is the only constant? Change, right? Change. And starting over can be such a wonderful, beautiful thing. If you all have been following me for a while, you may know my story that I have started over several careers. I started over with relocations. At one point, I moved 3 times in 3 years because my husband was in the military. I have a large gap in between my kids. I started over again, like having children. I had a lot of start over. I am the queen of starting overs. And like I like to say, like a career change, starting over, it's just a rebrand. So I'm the queen of rebrand, okay? Part of the reason why I consider myself a personal branding expert, I have rebranded several times in my personal life, in my professional life, and in my business. And you guys, it can be fun. It can be scary, but it can be exciting and exhilarating. It can also bring a lot of anxiety and nervousness. All of these things come with starting over. So I'm going to give you all some like practical tips on like things you can do, but I'm also going to start off with mindset tips, like how you need to reframe, how we need to think about starting over as someone who's 40 and as a woman of color, right? Especially right now. A lot of people are coming to me and they want a career change. They're like, I've been in this career for like 20 years, Latrice. I'm seeing the writing on the wall. Maybe with the new political environment, you're like, I don't want to stay in this industry. Or maybe you just feel like you've outgrown an industry or a career. There's nothing wrong with that, with just outgrowing something. And that tends to happen in your 40s. Most of the people who come to me who are starting over or want a career change are in their 40s. They're 40 and over, and they wake up and just like, this ain't it. Like, this ain't it. And I know it's got to be something better. So, in saying that, I'm going to share some advice that I've given to my clients who have successfully started over, whether they've successfully went to a new career change. I've had clients go from IT and technology to being a healthcare advisor and in wellness. I've had clients leave corporate America and start their own business entirely. I've had clients start their own nonprofits. I've had clients continuously reinvent themselves or go from, let's say they've been entry level and all of a sudden they want to be in leadership roles, all of these things in their 40s. I've also had some clients who like, Latrice, I have climbed the corporate ladder. And you know what? Now I think I want to get something a little lighter and they want to be individual contributors, right? So all these are in the realm of starting over. And last week, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I did the live on advancing in your career after a divorce. Here's the interesting thing. That was such an interesting topic because this had been coming up with my clients, with people I had been speaking to. And the live, it was like a few people on the live, maybe like on like 10, 15 people. That replay is my highest watched replay, I think, in like of all times. I think it had almost 400 views for the replay. So that tells me a lot of people are going through some sort of transition, whether in their personal life or professional life, where they feel like they are starting over, right? And these things not just impact your salary, they impact your confidence, your livelihood, how you look at yourself. All of these things are impacted by some sort of major change or starting over. So, I'm going to get right into it. But as we go on, let me share this with you guys. I do have this, I have a free career planning guide. If you're listening to this and you're like, Latrice, I plan on starting over or making some sort of major change in 2025, I highly recommend that you get my free it's the 2025 career planning guide. Now is the time. This is February, and most people tend to either give up on their goals by February or really slow down on them. You want to continue your goals, you want to achieve them, have a plan for them. So put 2025 in the comments and I'll send you that link so you can get the free career planning guide. Okay. Here's the thing. Number one tip, starting over is not starting from scratch. Can we get that? It's so funny. I have this, let me see if I can pull it over. Can I pull it over? I have my little board here, you guys. Oh, is it gonna get in the frame? I have a little board and I was like working doing this with my clients and I have a little path and a lot of my clients are getting interviews a lot. Some are getting offers, some not. But each time they have an interview and don't get the offer or go to the next phase, they think they're starting over. And one of the things that I shared is this concept of starting over is not starting from scratch, right? So, oh man, I wish you all could see can y'all see my little diagram here of like, this is the start from the beginning. This is where you really are, right? But you think every time that something happens to interrupt the normal pattern, you're starting here. And it's not true. You're not starting from scratch. Okay. So can I get that? Tip one, this is a mindset tip. You have to understand this because everything is going to build on this. Just because you're starting over does not mean you're starting from scratch. Your value has not gone anywhere. Your knowledge has not gone anywhere. Your experience that you've had in the past hasn't gone anywhere. Even if you are switching industries, even if you're switching industries, you're not starting from scratch. Hey, Tamisha, thank you. All right, Tamisha says 2025. We're going to get that link to you. Is it IKEA? Let me know how to pronounce your name. We'll get that to you. Tamisha's, that's a good way to look at it. Yes, because if not, let me tell you what happens. And this is why I did this little diagram for my clients. I said, if not, you start to solve the wrong problem. And you think I'm starting from the beginning, so I have all of these problems to solve. When really you're starting here. You're especially my people who are 40 and over. Typically, my clients who are 40 and over, you have experience, you have education, you have wisdom, you have professionalism, you probably have some sort of loyalty, You have all of these other components that if you don't consider those things, you think you're starting from scratch. So then I hear people like, I got to get experience. I got, like, what are you talking about? You've been working for 25 years. You do not need to go back and start from scratch. And if someone gives you that advice, don't listen to them. So one of my clients, she was in my Fearless Branding Formula the previous round. And if you all are interested in the seeing some of my clients speak, we did a client panel. I want to say like was in December, and she spoke about this, where she went to a recruiter and she was like, "Hey, I want to like advance through these things," and they were like, "Oh, you know what? You're really gonna have to start over, and you should try to get something entry level." Keep in mind, she'd been in her industry for about 15, maybe 20 years. She had a PMP. She was teaching the PMP classes, and someone had the nerve to tell her she needed to take an entry level. I was like, girl, do not believe that. I was like, if you want to believe it, you can. I was like, but you don't need that. What she needed was repositioning. What she needed was to learn how to articulate her value. Whether you're going for a higher role, something different across industries, or something like even I would say like sometimes people are in leadership roles and want to become individual contributors. You're not starting from scratch. You're not going all the way back and taking entry level roles. That's not what we're doing. And we're definitely not doing it in 2020. You cannot afford to do that in 2025. And let me be honest. Can we talk, Scooter? You're going to have people tell you that in this environment. And you have to know this so you do not listen to them. So with my client, when I was like, oh no, girl, you just need to articulate your value. I was like, you have everything. You just need to learn how to put it together and speak on it, like what you've accomplished. Switched up her resume. She started applying for roles. She got a job on the spot. She got a job offer on the spot because she started articulating her value. It wasn't the right fit, but she used that offer to leverage a raise at her job, and she got over a $20,000 salary increase and a new title. Hear me when I say you don't need to start from scratch. And she was starting over to, I think she was coming from maternity leave. She had some things going on in her life that was like a starting over. And this person gave her some terrible advice that could have truly cost her livelihood. So this is why I feel the need to drill this concept in of you do not start over. Okay? What you need to know how to do is articulate your value. Now more than ever. Now is not the time to be like, I got a degree. They know what I do. They know what I can do. No, you need to know how to speak on it. You need to look at your resume, and everything needs to be in accomplishments, especially in this environment. And you all know what's going on. If you log into LinkedIn, I mean, and it's so much drama and change that I think it is like overwhelming at times, but there is an all-out attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And why I believe that Black women, we don't have to worry about this. And women of color, we do not have to worry about this. One, we were not the primary recipients of this anyway. Two, we have the credentials, we have the experience and the accomplishments. We just need to learn how to speak on it. That's it. That's it. Let me know if y'all picking up what I'm dropping, okay? It's like you're not starting over does not mean starting from scratch. Number two, you need to learn how to articulate your value. That is a skill you must have in 2025. You must have it. This is something I literally practice this with my clients. I help them master the tier method, which is my proprietary method for answering interview questions, where they're not just answering the interview questions, they're answering the questions, giving a story and that supports their brand and speaking on their brand. And it's all worded in the way of accomplishments. And it has been working amazingly. And I will tell y'all, with all this drama and stuff, y'all see, I have this. My clients have been getting a lot of interviews in 2025, right? In January, right? Right now, we're like, all right, now it's time to seal the deal. So it is working. Companies are still seeing that they need people to do the work and who know how to talk about their accomplishments. This is not a skill that is readily taught to us as women of color. So we need to learn this and master this in 2025, especially as you start over. And with my women over 40, what I usually hear is my work should speak for this for itself. I'm a hard worker. And we believe sometimes the I need more. Like, oh, I need another degree. I've spoken to people who literally had 2, 3 degrees, and they'll be like, I need another degree. I'm like, no, you need to talk about what you've already done. And another degree won't help you do that. Yeah, I've worked with someone who had 4 degrees and she wasn't even making 45,000. So I'm telling you all what I know. Okay. So after that, you need to take personal inventory. Personal inventory. You need to think about all of the things that you've done. What do you already have? What do you already have? So I like to call this the 25 reasons why. So whether it's like 25 reasons why I'd be the perfect candidate for this, job in this new industry, 25 reasons why I'm ready to start my own business, or whatever that starting over is for you, you're literally giving yourself, your brain, your body evidence that you are ready. And one of the things we do with my class is we then take that and we start creating your hero stories from that list. We see if your brand emerges, we see what emerges from that. But the primary reason for it is that you now know what you bring to the table. It's going to help you better articulate, better tell the stories. Sometimes we just forget, or we think because we got something a long time ago, it lessens the value. So a degree, and you all know I have a love-hate relationship with degrees. I feel like you get a degree, get what you need, but if you don't need 7 degrees, don't get 7 degrees unless it's a personal choice. However, in saying that, it still has value, right? Even if you got your degree 20 years ago, put that on your list. And someone told me, was like, oh, I don't think these matter, so I'm not going to talk about it. No, you put that on your list. If you have an industry related certification, put that on your list. If it is something personal, put it on your list. That goes into your personal brand. If you're loyal, if you're caring, if you have a particular way of solving problems, if you're like very efficient and you're like, I could just see that this thing is 17 steps and we could do it in 3 steps, right? If process improvement is your thing, you put that on your list of 25 reasons why. You don't limit yourself. Let me make this out of frame. Yeah, I'm gonna start bringing my board. I've Side note, I've really been like almost obsessed with this Hillman talk. Let me know if you all have heard about it. And I was like, I may want to start doing like some class type things. I love teaching. I love sharing this information with you guys. So I was like, yeah, that may be something interesting to do. And all my clients know I love like writing on the board and the paper and kind of working things out that way so people can see it visually. But yeah, you guys, we in 2025, these things are not optional. I'm being so honest with you guys right now. The things I'm sharing with you all are not optional. Usually you all know I'm like, hey, choose your top 3. No, all of these are just as important. You should be writing these down. Like I'm giving you all gold here. And even if you're like, Latrice, I don't think I'm starting over in 2025. Sis, you are. There are some major changes coming. We only in February. This is only in February. Like every time you turn on the news, some organization is eradicating their DE&I initiatives, plane crashes coming out of the sky, tariffs, racism, sexism, comments, politics, like just everything. So even if you're like, I'm not really starting over, you need this information. And that's why I said, share this out, tag someone, because this is going to be imperative on you really thriving in 2025 and not just kind of treading water. We don't want to just survive in 2025. We want to thrive. And so changes are going to come. There is going to be some version of starting over. You need to be prepared. You need to have, and these things I'm talking about, I highly recommend you do them before you starting over, right? Especially my women over 40. I'm over 40 because we can be, a little stuck in our ways. If you're like me, we can be a little stuck in our ways. Nobody likes change. And the older you get, the more you like stability, the more you like predictability, as myself, right? I like these things too. And even me in my business, I am anticipating some sort of major change and starting over. I am preparing for the starting over. I'm preparing my clients for it. This is why I wanted to to turn on this topic today. They're also predicting more economic turmoil. They're predicting more layoffs, higher cost of groceries and food, maybe the rate of inflation going up even higher. So there's going to be some level of starting over. And it's unfortunate. They're really predicting some layoffs, right? And we want to make sure that we are prepared in whichever way we are starting over, whether it be in our personal lives or professional lives or both. We want to be prepared, we want to be successful, and we want to thrive, right? And then again, if you're interested and you want that free career planning guide for 2025, just put 2025 in the comments. We'll get you that link. Even if you're watching the replay, because I know I get a ton of people watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay and just put 2025 in the comments and we'll get you that link. And then also you're going to be on my email list. I send out private invites to like workshops, webinars, private trainings that is only to my email list. Once you give me your email and you sign up, you get invited to all of those as well. And I have a lot of things planned for you guys in 2025 because I'm anticipating some big changes that are happening really, really quickly. All right. So, my next tip, you have to decide on a new personal brand. Okay. As you're starting over, especially as a woman of color, hey, Lourdes, as you're starting over, especially as a woman of color over 40, you have to make a conscious decision about your personal brand. We all have a personal brand. It's just whether you're letting somebody else look at you, look at your resume and your experience and dictate your personal brand, or whether you're controlling that narrative. I highly recommend in 2025, you control the narrative for your personal brand. So you have to decide what do you want to be known for right now? Even if you I can't even I want to say even if you're starting over, but no, especially when you're starting over, you need to decide on your brand. What do you want to be known for? How will you present yourself and show up? How will you decide and create the narrative for your experience, your education, and what you bring to the table? How are you highlighting your gifts and the accomplishments you're able to create with these gifts? That's what I mean by your personal brand, right? And once you sign up for the career planning guide, again, you're also going to get access to my information. I have a personal branding workshop. I got some workshops that I'm going to be doing for you all in February and in March, you guys. So just stay tuned for all of that. But I am I am looking at what's going on around us. I've made some predictions. So I did a live on like hiring and career trends for 2025. Take a look at that. But I'm doing things to educate my people on how we can navigate these times, okay? Um, because it's going to be imperative to you all, especially us over 40. If you're a woman of color, you're over 40, there's certain narratives that people are going to create. You have to be ahead of that narrative. And right now, I'm also telling people it is not enough to create your personal brand internally, like in your own company. You now need to create your personal brand externally. So I'm sharing this with my clients, and they've been posting, some have been posting like weekly tips or even monthly tips on LinkedIn. One created a video series. I have another client that created a podcast. I have another client that's been getting podcast interviews. Now is the time. It's a great time. We're still in the beginning of the year for you to start building your personal brand externally as well. It's not just enough to know how to show up internally or for these companies. When you build your brand externally, you're more likely to get the opportunities coming to you to attract more six-figure and high-level opportunities. Let me know if that makes sense, you guys, because usually I'm speaking a lot about like your in like building your personal brand internally. Now in 2025, it needs to be external. Like when someone types in your name and looks you up on LinkedIn, they should not just see your profile. They should see comments. They should see articles that you have shared and your perspective on them. They should see things that you have shared. They should see some original content. It doesn't have to be everything. You don't have to do a weekly live like me, but you can just share a tip, right? Whatever it is that you want to be known for, you should share that. All right. So deciding, and then building on your personal brand internally and externally. And then my final tip, you guys, is community. You need community right now. You need community. This is why in all of my programs, I don't just have communities, we utilize each other and utilize the community to bouncing ideas, to hearing different perspectives, to having interview prep, to just having someone and different people pour into you. Now is going to be the time. Starting over takes a lot of energy, right? Dealing with change takes a lot of mental capacity you need to be poured into. And this is what a community does. A supportive community. So definitely curate your community. If you happen to a community and you see they're all negative or people are like bickering and putting each other down, that's not for you. You just kindly unsubscribe. You just kindly remove yourself, right? But if you see it's a community that they look like you, they've had similar experiences, but still different. They're adding to each other's experience. They're giving advice. They're being supportive and pouring into each other. That's where you need to be. I'm going to tell y'all, and not just in 2025, but in the next 4 years, your community and your tribe is going to be essential to your success. Essential. You cannot do it by yourself. You should not do it by yourself. It doesn't make sense. Right now, we need each other. And I grew up, and I'm over 40, of that era of like work twice as hard for half as much. Don't tell people what you're doing. Work in silence. Don't trust anybody. All these things that might have worked in the past and got me to a certain point, but they're not going to help me thrive in 2025. So you need to release them. Let me know if you all have heard any of these things or even are living by them right now. Like the moment I had a community and allowed myself to get poured into, my income shot up, my skin cleared up, my hair started growing, I started losing weight. I had people literally encouraging and motivating me. I didn't feel the stress of everything on me by myself. In fact, one of my mottos for 2025 is I am supported. And really, it's like I am safe, I am supported, I am secure. So that is like my three things that I have to constantly tell myself. So feel free to use that, especially in 2025, especially as you're starting over. As a woman of color over 40, sometimes you need to ground yourself and be like, I am supported, I am safe, I am secure. And if you don't believe it, start creating that. Where can you create community that you're in, that you're supported? Where can you create a sense of safety? Where can you create security, especially when we're starting over? Sorry, we can feel a little unsteady, right? So that's why throwing in that I am secure and I am safe really is going to help you kind of ground yourself. Okay, let me know, do you all have any questions, any comments? What has been coming up for you as you've been starting over as a woman of color over 40? Let me know, you guys. Let me see before I hop off. I want to make sure that I have the comments. Hey, Lourdes. I love this picture. I love that picture. Let me know if I hop off and you all still have comments, put them in. I'll be able to reply to them later on. You can also DM me, and be sure to, if you want the career planning guide, to go ahead and put 2025 in the comments, and I'll make sure that you get that. All right. You all have a wonderful night. And remember, starting over doesn't mean starting from scratch. And we will be thriving in 2025. Have a good night, you all. Bye.